Okay, we're going to continue in the Apocrypha. This is the Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 23, verse 27. And those who are left behind will know that there is nothing better than the fear of the Lord, and nothing more pleasant than observing the Lord's commandments. Wisdom is her own recommendation, and exalts in the midst of her people. She opens her mouth in the assembly of the Most High, and in the presence of his might she utters her boast. I issued from the mouth of the Most High, and covered the earth like a mist. I live on the heights, and my throne was on the pillar of a cloud. I alone compassed the circuit of heaven, and I walk in the depths of the abyss. I own the waves of the sea and the whole earth, and every people and nation. Among all these I sought a resting place. In whose possession should I lodge? Then the Creator of all gave me his command, and he who created me made my tent rest. And I said, pitch your tent in Jacob, and find your inheritance in Israel. He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never cease. I ministered before him in the holy tent, and so I was established in Zion. He made me rest likewise in the beloved city, and I had authority over Jerusalem. I took root in the glorified people, in the portion of the Lord, and of his inheritance. I was exalted like a cedar in the Lebanon, or the cypress in the mountains of Hermon. I was exalted like a palm tree in Engedi, or like the rose bushes in Jericho, like a fine olive tree in the field. I was exalted like a plane tree. I gave forth a perfume like cinnamon and camel's thorn, and I spread fragrance like a choice myrrh, like galbanum, onycha, and stachy, and like the smoke of frankincense in the tent. I stretched out my branches like a terebinth. My branches were glorious, graceful branches. I made grace grow like a vine, and my blossoms produced fame and wealth. Come to me, you who desire me, and fill yourselves with my produce. For the memory of me is sweeter than honey, and the possession of me than the honeycomb. Those who eat me will still be hungry, and those who drink me will still be thirsty. He who obeys me will not be put to shame, and those who work with me will commit no sin. All this is the book of the agreement of the Most High God, the law which Moses ordained for us as an inheritance for the congregations of Jacob, which filled men with wisdom like the Pishon and like the Tigris in the days of the new wheat, which overflows with understanding like the Euphrates and like the Jordan in harvest time, which makes instruction shine forth like light, like the Gihon in the days of the vintage, just as the first man did not know her perfectly. The last one will not track her out. For her thinking is fuller than the sea, and her counsel than the great deep. I came out like a canal from the river, and like a watercourse in a garden. And I said, I will water my garden and drench my flower bed. And behold, my canal became a river, and my river became a sea. And I will again make instruction dawn like the daybreak, and make it shine forth afar. I will pour out teaching again like prophecy, and leave it behind for endless generations. Observe that I have not labored for myself only, but for all who seek her out. In three things I show my beauty, and stand up in beauty before the Lord and men, harmony among brothers, and friendship upon neighbors, and wife and husband suited to each other. But three kinds of men my soul hates. I am greatly angered at their existence: a poor man who is proud, and a rich man who lies, and an old man who is an adulterer and lacks understanding. If you have not gathered in your youth, how can you find anything in your old age? How beautiful judgment is for hoary hair, and the knowledge of what to advise for the elderly. How beautiful is the wisdom of old men, and consideration and counsel in men of distinction. Rich experience is the crown of old men, and their boast is the fear of the Lord. 9 things I have thought of and considered happy. I can mention a 10th with my tongue. A man who is happy in his children, one who lives to see his enemies fall. Blessed is the man who lives with a wife of understanding, and the one who does not slip with his tongue, and the one who is not a slave to his inferior. Blessed is the man who finds good sense, and one who discourses to the ears of men who listen. How great the man is who finds wisdom, but there is no one greater than the man who fears the Lord. The fear of the Lord surpasses everything. To what can the man who possesses it be compared? Any wound but a wounded heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. Any calamity but a calamity about those who hate you, and any vengeance but the vengeance of your enemies. There is no head higher than a snake's head, and no anger greater than an enemy's. I had rather keep house with a lion and a serpent than keep house with a wicked woman. A woman's wickedness changes her looks and darkens her face like a bear. Her husband sits at a table among his neighbors and involuntarily groans bitterly. Any malice is small to a woman's malice. May the lot of the sinner befall her. Like a sandy climb to an old man's feet is a talkative wife to a quiet man. Do not fall down before a woman's beauty, and do not greatly desire her for a wife. It means anger and impudence